What do you want me to do? Do you want me to call Todd or Keith? Help me.
Go back and watch her full video for context, but basically what she was saying is that women are tired of carrying the emotional baggage of situations. She goes on to give the example of a woman who went to an OB appointment and the doctor did some terrible stuff to her, so she is in fight or flight crisis mode and decides to text her boyfriend about what's going on. His response to her isn't how he's going to help her. His response to her is a question of how he can help her. So while she's in full crisis mode, he puts the emotional baggage back on her to where she's going to have to stop the fight or flight and try to think of ways to answer his question. Now, they were valid questions. I looked at it and it was like, should I call Keith or Todd to watch the girls so I can go to the hospital? Valid question. But it's also something that he could have answered in his own adult head. He could have thought to himself, I'm going to call Keith and Todd to come watch the girls so I can be up there. Or I'm going to take the girls with me because my girlfriend sounds like she is freaking out, rightfully so. He could have answered that on his own, but instead, he didn't want to have to come up with the answer on his own. He's going to put it back on her while this woman is emotionally on fire. And it reminded me of a book that a friend of mine wrote. And I'm going to read you an excerpt of it so that it can show the difference between what he did as far as putting the emotional baggage on her and what happened here. And so just a little backstory. This is a friend of mine. We went to college together. After college, it was when Facebook was new. So she and I didn't have communication for a little bit. When we got back on Facebook together, she said she wrote a book. Of course, I'm going to support her. So I'm like, I'm buying it now. And she said, you're in the book. I was like, what? She said, I didn't use your name because I couldn't get a hold of you. So I didn't know if it was okay to use your name because I talk about the shared mental health issues that we were going through at the time in college. But she said, my name in here is Cassandra. So when Cassandra picked up the phone, I sank to my knees in the dorm stairwell. All that came out of my mouth was incomprehensible mutterings, sobs, and the sound of snot evacuating my face. Without saying anything, I knew she was on her way over. She stayed on the phone while driving to the dorm. She stayed on the phone while I made my way inside, racked in fear and disgust. She let herself in and found me full body crying into the carpet. Together we left a message with the campus doctor for the following day. We both cried until there were no more tears. I could hear her leave soon as I drifted off to sleep after exhausting my carpet's capacity for collecting tears. I slept on the floor that night. I remember this day vividly. The night before, I'd gone to my sister's house to stay the night, and the next morning, my friend called. I pick up the phone, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And she is bawling. I can't even understand what she's saying. I don't know what's going on her end. But within my own brain, I made the executive decision on my own that I was just going to be there for my friend. I knew where she lived. I was headed over there. We're going to figure this out. And I think how differently things would have gone if I was on the phone with her and said, well, how can I help you? What do you need me to do? Should I call someone? When someone's in crisis, putting the emotional baggage back on them to have to think through what you as a grown adult should do in a situation, it's not helpful. And I think that's what the original poster was saying, was that the girlfriend, she shouldn't have to be the one to carry the mental load, the emotional load of what her partner should do. You don't have to have the perfect action plan or the perfect answer. Just jump in and just be there. That's the first thing. Just be there. And from there, both of y'all can hatch a perfect plan. But that was my experience of just jumping in, just being there for your friend, instead of throwing the ball back in their court and saying, what can I do?